Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to start recording class now. It's 10:34, and we're going to go ahead and continue our physiology unit on the endocrine system that we began this week. So for those of you just joining me, I am recording this session, so if you showed up a few minutes late to class, that's okay. You can always rewatch it. If you didn't see Wednesday's session, I actually recorded and posted a YouTube link for, and so you can always watch these at any time. Because I am recording, like I just said, for those of you just joining me, Natalie and Haley, please make sure your cameras are turned off unless I ask you to, because I am recording and I don't want to put you on the internet or anything like that. Okay, so please make sure your cameras are off. And what we're going to go ahead and do today is I'm going to start sharing my screen with you now to let you know what we're doing today. Okay, so we're going to go to Schoology. Thank you for those of you who are here and being on time. Good morning, Myrtle.
Morning, Miss.
Okay, so we are looking at Schoology, guys, and like it says on your calendar today, you have two assignments that are due, and I'll say it again, soft due date is the reading assignment and a watching assignment. So if you haven't started those, which about half of you have, half of you haven't, I'm giving you the whole day to do this. So once I finish, please go ahead and get started on these. So if you weren't here on Wednesday, or if you haven't been here all week, I'll remind you the way we're doing class now. So if you click on assignments, the module that we just started this week is called the endocrine system. So you scroll to the bottom and it says endocrine and hormones. Okay, you click on that. And here we have the notes for this module unit. The assignments are the two that I just said, which are on your calendar, are this endocrine system reading assignment, which is a Newsella article. Okay, and if you haven't accessed Newsella, and actually all the people in this group that I see, almost everyone has a Newsella account, but not all of you. So I'm going to actually email you guys today because some of you haven't signed up for Newsella. So Newsella is right here. Okay, so if you click on that, and Daisy showed us how to do that last time. If you weren't here, please rewatch Wednesday's class recording. Daisy walked us through how to do it. So you click on this, and then you'll see an article that I sent you called the Endocrine System. Okay, so please get started on that. I'm giving you till the end of the day to do that. Okay, it's just a quick little article. You're just going to write me a couple of paragraphs. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. These are minor points. Okay, then you're going to watch your old buddy, the crash course guy, and answer 10 questions about the endocrine system. Thank you, Seren, for being the first one that turned those in. Okay, so these are the two assignments for today. What we're going to do today to connect all this with what we're doing is we're going to watch in breakout groups this this TED Ed. You guys know what TED Talks are, right? We're going to watch this TED Talk on how do your hormones work. Okay, so this is what you're going to watch in your group. So on the assignments, I sent you the link already for the video. You're going to click on the video in your Zoom breakout group. So please, one person per group. You're going to play the video for the group. And then I sent you some questions here that I want you to discuss. Okay, so if you click on TED video lesson, you're going to answer five questions in your groups. You're going to answer me these 5 questions in breakout groups. Okay, it's all about the video. And that shouldn't take you longer than like 10 minutes or so. Then we'll come back as a class and we'll discuss the video. Does that make sense, guys? Thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, here we go, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with your breakout groups. Thank you, Nathan. I see the thumbs up. So I'll do about 4 groups since we're a small group today. And in your groups, watch the video I sent you on the assignment section for hormones, okay? And you're answering me just the 5 multiple choice questions. I'll be jumping around per group to hear your discussions as always. And then I'll break us up in about 10, 12 minutes, and then we'll put it all together and keep talking about the unit. Okay, so here we go, guys. You're going to get an invite for groups now. So we'll do about 4 groups, and here you go. You're getting an invite, and I'll see you in your groups. Okay, who's going to play the video for us? Daniel, Alma, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to play the video for us? Remember, one person needs to share their screen like we've done in the past. Who wants to play it? Okay, thank you, Daniel. 3, good. Assignments. And then all the way down to endocrine module. There it is. Assignments, orange folder. And TED Ed, there it is. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to watch the video together. Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Can you hear it, Daniel?
Yeah.
Oh, but Alma can't hear it. Hold on. I think it's something on your end, Daniel, where you have to share the audio with her. Do you have something on the bottom there that let's see. Audio.
No.
There's no other options? How did we do this last time? Because I know we've played videos for each other, right?
Yeah.
Have we never played videos in groups, or have I always played them in the whole class?
You've always played them with the whole class.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys could watch them together. Then you know what? Let me break up the groups then, and I'll play for everyone. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. I think I sent it to you wrong. Let me break this group up, okay?
All right.
Hi guys. Sorry, I broke up the groups. Were you guys having issues playing the audio for one another?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's what I found out in another group. So my apologies. I thought you could play the videos in individual groups, but apparently you can't. So I'll just play it for the whole class, and then once I play it, I'll put you in groups, and you can just have the discussion about those questions in groups. Okay, so um, so everyone should be back. I broke up the groups. I'm still waiting for a few people to return, but I'm going to share my screen with you and play the audio here. Okay, so those of you just joining me, I'm sorry. I broke up the groups because the audio wasn't for everyone. So I'll just play it here. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you. And can you guys see the video here?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Let me know if you can hear it. Okay, give me thumbs up if you can hear this. Thumbs up if you can hear it. Okay. So do me a favor, guys. As I'm playing the video, the questions are right here. So if you want to pop those up just so you know what the questions are, they're right here. If you want to just take a screenshot of them or just have them open as a second page. But these are the 5 questions you're going to discuss. Okay, it's these 5. So if you want to take quick notes or if you want to take a screenshot of this now, these are the 5 discussion questions. Okay. All right, so that's attached right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. And you can always rewatch this. I put it in your assignment folder. Okay, here we go.
Of our life. Over the course of our lifetimes, our bodies undergo a series of extraordinary metamorphoses. We grow, experience puberty, and many of us reproduce. Behind the scenes, The endocrine system works constantly to orchestrate these changes. Alongside growth and sexual maturity, this system regulates everything from your sleep to the rhythm of your beating heart, exerting its influence over each and every one of your cells. The endocrine system relies on interactions between three features to do its job: glands, hormones, and trillions of cell receptors. Firstly, there are several hormone-producing glands, 3 in your brain and 7 in the rest of your body. Each is surrounded by a network of blood vessels, from which they extract ingredients to manufacture dozens of hormones. Those hormones are then pumped out in tiny amounts, usually into the bloodstream. From there, each hormone needs to locate a set of target cells in order to bring about a specific change. To find its targets, it's helped along by receptors, which are special proteins inside or on the cell's surface. Those receptors recognize specific hormones as they waft by and bind to them. When this happens, that hormone-receptor combination triggers a range of effects that either increase or decrease specific processes inside the cell to change the way that cell behaves. By exposing millions of cells at a time to hormones in carefully regulated quantities, the endocrine system drives large-scale changes across the body. Take, for instance, the thyroid and the 2 hormones it produces, triiodothyronine and thyroxine. These hormones travel to most of the body's cells, where they influence how quickly those cells use energy and how rapidly they work. In turn, that regulates everything from breathing rate to heartbeat, body temperature, and digestion. Hormones also have some of their most visible and familiar effects during puberty. In men, puberty begins when the testes start secreting testosterone. That triggers the gradual development of the sexual organs, makes facial hair sprout, and causes the voice to deepen and height to increase. In women, estrogen secreted from the ovaries signals the start of adulthood. It helps the body develop, makes the hips widen, and thickens the womb's lining, preparing the body for menstruation or pregnancy. An enduring misconception around the endocrine system is that there are exclusively male and female hormones. In fact, men and women have estrogen and testosterone, just in different amounts. Both hormones play a role in pregnancy as well, alongside more than 10 other hormones that ensure the growth of the fetus, enable birth, and help the mother feed her child. Such periods of hormonal change are also associated with fluctuations in mood. That's because hormones can influence the production of certain chemicals in the brain, like serotonin. When chemical levels shift, they may cause changes in mood as well. But that's not to say that hormones have unlimited power over us. They're frequently viewed as the main drivers of our behavior, making us slaves to their effects, especially during puberty. But research shows that our behavior is collectively shaped by a variety of influences, including the brain and its neurotransmitters, our hormones, and various social factors. The primary function of the endocrine system is to regulate our bodily processes, not control us. Sometimes disease, stress, and even diet can disrupt that regulatory function, however, altering the quantity of hormones that glands secrete or changing the way that cells respond. Diabetes is one of the most common hormonal disorders, occurring when the pancreas secretes too little insulin, a hormone that manages blood sugar levels, and hypo and hyperthyroidism occur when the thyroid gland makes too little or too much thyroid hormone. When there's too little thyroid hormone, that results in a slowed heart rate, fatigue, and depression. And when there's too much thyroid hormone, weight loss, sleeplessness, and irritability. But most of the time, the endocrine system manages to keep our bodies in a state of balance. And through its constant regulation, it drives the changes that ultimately help us become who we are. If you want to learn more about the ins and
Okay. So hopefully all of you were able to hear that. And again, you can rewatch this individually if you'd like at any time. This is going to be like a reoccurring theme throughout this module. How we're, sorry guys, my cat's in the way, how we're in a state of like constant balance because of our hormones, obviously, is something we've kind of already talked about. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back into your groups. And again, the discussion questions are attached right here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put you in your groups one more time and give you about 10 minutes, I think, tops to discuss those 5 questions. Okay, so here we go. Brianna, did you get my invite? Hi guys, so can someone go ahead and share the screen and post the questions up for us, please? Who would like to do that?
I can't share my screen. It doesn't let me.
Doesn't let you.
No.
Elisa or Brianna, are you guys able to share? Because I was just in a group and they were sharing. Elisa or Brianna?
You try.
I could try to figure it out. It does give me the option.
Yeah, it should be at the bottom. It should say share, like options. Can you see if it works for you, please? Because I know we've done it in the past. So at the bottom, are you on a computer or your phone?
I'm on my computer, but it says I can connect my phone to it.
Yeah, you can. You can. Anything that's hooked up to your USB drives on your computer, Elisa, you can use that to share. So you can share a camera, you can share a phone. There it is. Perfect. I see you, Elisa. Good, good, good. So once you start sharing your screen, if you can just open up the questions for this TED Ed video found on Schoology. All I see is black.
It's saying that I have to trust this computer.
Oh yeah, go ahead and hit trust. Go ahead and hit trust.
It's not letting me.
Uh-oh. Hmm. Do you have like pop-up blocker enabled or something?
Mm-mm.
Let me stop your sharing, okay? Brianna, can you try real quick for me?
Yeah.
Because I was just in Daniel's group and they were sharing, so I know it works. It might just be the browser you're on, Lisa. What are you using right now? What browser?
It was just my phone on Schoology.
So you're not on your computer, you're on your phone?
I'm on both.
Oh, you're on both. Okay. Brianna, were you going to share with us?
Yes. And then
Okay. If you can, I'll share it because I don't want to take up too much time with this, but I know it does work. So I think it might be one of the settings you have, Elisa. Maybe it's the fact that you're on both. I don't know if that could be it.
Probably.
But if Brianna can figure it out, then that means it works. Brianna, are you doing it?
no, it's not letting me.
Oh, that's really weird. Okay, here, I'm just going to share it with you, okay? Because I don't want to take too much time with this. So, okay. So these are the questions. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so can you read us the first one, please? How about Elisa?
The main element of the endocrine Endocrine System are the glands, hormones, and cell receptors, the glands, nerves, and blood vessels, the blood, tissue, and brain, or the hormones, blood, and brain.
Okay, what do you think, Alyssa? A, B, C, or D?
A.
Okay, Kenneth, what do you think? Kenneth, what do you think?
Hello?
Yeah, what do you think
Oh,
for
I,
question one?
the glands, hormones, and cell receptors.
Okay, so A as well. How about you, Brianna? Brianna?
think A2.
Yeah, very good. So the answer is A. This was explained in the video at the beginning, and it's also the notes that I gave you on Wednesday. How about question 2? Can you read us number 2, Kenneth?
Hormones cause specific effects by flooding the entire body, targeting specific parts of the brain, targeting specific groups of cells in the body, or spreading through the nervous system.
Okay, what do you think? A, B, C, or D, Kenneth?
Targeting specific groups of cells in the body, I think.
Okay, what do you think, Elisa? A, B, C, or D?
I think D.
Why do you say that?
I feel like if it's spreading through like your nerves, you could feel like what's happening. If that makes sense.
Okay, what do you think, Brianna? A, B, C, or D?
I think C.
You think it's C? Yeah, the answer is actually C. Elisa, can any of you tell Elisa why it's not D?
Because what's it called? When the glands make hormones or create hormones, the hormones travel to the receptors that are in cells.
Mm-hmm.
So
And how do they travel though? Like
through the bloodstream
exactly.
sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So Elisa, I see kind of the misconception. Kenneth is absolutely right. So it travels from glands to cells along a bloodstream. So it has nothing to do with the nervous system per se. They are similar, and that's something that was kind of mentioned in the video. Like it does work hand in hand with the nervous system, but it's not the nervous system. So I know that one's a little tricky.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. Can you read us the third one, Brianna?
There are blank many main hormone producing glands in the body.
So what do you think, Brianna? A, B, C, or D?
D.
Okay, what do you think, Kenneth?
A.
Okay, what do you think, Elisa?
A.
So I know it was a quick section in the video, but the answer is C. There are 10. And in my notes, actually, I listed all of them in my notes. And don't worry if you haven't had a chance to look at all my notes. We're going to continue looking at them today, but there are 10. Okay. And how about number 4, Elisa?
Diabetes is a disease triggered by hormone imbalance occurring when A. Adrenaline levels are imbalanced, B. The liver
Secretes?
secretes too
Secretes?
much insulin, C. There is too much insulin in the blood, D. The pancreas secretes too little insulin.
Okay. What do you think? A, B, C, or D?
Is it
Hmm?
is it D?
Okay. What do you think, Kenneth?
Is D as well.
What do you think, Brianna?
D.
Okay, very good. The answer is D. And then last one, number 5. Can you read us, Kenneth?
Men and women have completely different hormones. True or false?
What do you think?
I think that's true.
What do you think, Elisa?
True.
What do you think, Brianna?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What do you think for number 5? True or false?
True.
The answer is false. This is something they mentioned in the video, and women have testosterone as well. You just don't have as much as a man does. That's why you don't have Trujillo's beard, but we have the same hormones. We just have different amounts of them. So very good, guys. Now that you've discussed, I'm going to go ahead and just check in other groups to see that they've also discussed, and then I'm going to bring us all together, okay? So thank you, guys. Very good. I'll be back, okay? Hi, guys. So did we get a chance to discuss?
Yeah, we
Yes.
already finished.
Okay, sweet. Okay, good. You discussed all 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you about the last one then. Can someone tell me the answer to number 5 and why you think that is?
We said it was false
Good. And why is that?
because they both have like the same hormones, but in just like a different balance.
Exactly, exactly. So females do have testosterone, right? You just don't have as much of it. That's why you don't have the deeper voice, and that's why you don't have all this facial hair like I do, right? So very good, very good. And did anyone have any questions about the questions? Like, did everyone agree on the answers, or were there any misconceptions that I could
Yes.
suggest? You guys
No,
got
we
them
all
all?
agree.
Oh, sweet. Oh, good. So it was pretty easy for you guys. Okay, awesome. Let me check in. I have 2 more groups to pop in on, and then I'm going to break us up. Okay. Good job, guys. Hi, guys. Did we get a chance to talk about the answers?
Yes.
Okay. Did everyone get all 5 of them right, or did you guys have any questions about them?
No, I think we're fine.
You good? Okay. Can someone tell me what you got for
Yeah.
number 5 and why you think that's the correct answer?
Well, for number 5, we put false
Okay. Good.
because in the video it said, like males and females have the same hormones but different levels.
Exactly. Very good, Anna.
Right.
And exactly. Yeah, yeah. And so that's the reason why, for example, you have testosterone, and so do I. I just have more of it. That's why I have like a deeper voice and
Yeah.
more facial hair. Very good. Very good. And was Anthony able to answer? Because I know he doesn't have a mic. Was Anthony able to contribute?
No.
Anthony, make sure you are chatting, please, okay? Because I know I'm not giving you points for this, but you are going to eventually have a quiz on this, so I need you to make sure you're conversing with us, okay? So in the future, Anthony, make sure you're using that chat feature, okay? Give me thumbs up if you can hear me. Anthony. Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna pop in on one more group and then I'm gonna break us all up, okay? But good job, Anna and Haley. Anthony, please next time share your opinions, okay? Thank you. Hey guys, so were we able to answer all the questions, Daniel and Alma?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Did you guys have any questions about the questions, or did you get them all exactly the same?
Yeah, we got all exactly the same.
Oh, okay. And so then let me just check in on one of them. So for like question 5, for example, Alma, what did you guys say and why?
We said true because men and women have different like structure. Like I don't know how to say it. Like
Oh, I remember the video saying like that they had like different amounts,
yeah, that.
They have
right?
different amounts, Alma. So does that mean that they have different hormones, though? Is that the same thing?
Oh no, so they have the same kind but
Exactly.
different amounts.
Thank you for clarifying,
Oh.
Daniel. So yeah. So kind of a mix up there, Alma, but you guys got it. So you have the same exact hormones. Like for example, I have testosterone, which is why I have more hair than you, Alma, and a deeper voice than you. But it's not that you don't have testosterone. It's just that you don't have as much as I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's all of the questions. Everyone already discussed them in their groups. So I'm going to break up our groups now, okay? And then we're going to come back together. Thank you, guys. Hey guys, so everyone should be coming back now. So I went around and I asked questions to everyone about the 5 questions that you discussed, and looks like people are still popping in. But again, I'm not giving you points for that little video. I just wanted to make sure that you were able to watch and able to discuss it. It will be on a quiz later, and same with the any discussions we have here. I'm not giving you points for this. I just want to know that you're paying attention. So please, you can rewatch the video on your own. But those hormones, those glands, that's going to be the main topic of today's discussion. Okay, so let me share with you my screen for the last discussion question that I wanted us to kind of address together. Can you read us, please? How about Myrtle, where it says discussion as a class? Can you read that nice and loud for us?
For a long time, hormones have been viewed as the main cause behind our behavior. Now we're starting to rethink that as we learn more about the body's complexity. Still, these chemicals clearly have some kind of influence over us. What do you think? Are hormones primarily responsible for our behavior?
Okay, so what do you think, Myrtle, or anyone else that would like to chime in before I get into like the notes for today? What do you think?
I feel like that our hormones are a lot different when we're a lot younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that is a time that we can kind of blame our hormones because our bodies are going through changes and are like we're getting a lot of rushes of different kind of hormones.
Okay, like which ones, for example?
Oh, I forgot what's the name of it.
That's okay, but you're on the right track, Elisa. Very good. Anyone else want to add to that?
I don't think that hormones are primarily responsible because the video said that societal factors and like stress and like how we eat also like have a role in it.
Exactly. Thank you, Daisy. Yeah. So, Elisa, you're right, and so is Daisy, right? So hormones do influence us, right? You're right, Elisa. There are hormones, especially they said like as a teenager going through puberty, which that's what teenager means. That's what you guys are all going through right now. You're going through lots of hormonal changes, but like Daisy said, environment, stress, diet, right? Going back to January when we started that whole health lesson on foods you eat and how they contribute to overall health. So it's not black and white when it comes to your behavior, right? There are hormones involved, but there's many other external factors involved with our behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. But very good, guys. Good discussion. I'm glad you guys were able to take away something from the video. And now what I wanted to do is first just pause and see if you guys have any other questions for me that maybe weren't addressed in the video about hormones. So does anyone have any questions about hormones or any misconceptions or anything you'd like to talk about before I get into today's lesson?
No.
No? We're all good? Give me thumbs up if I can move on. Okay, good. All right, sweet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and now connect the dots. So we have been watching this video. Many of you, in fact, I think half of you already did the reading assignment. Only a few of you have done the watching assignment. So after I finish today's lesson, please make sure you do these by tonight. I'm giving you till midnight for these. But now let me tell you what all of this has to do with what we're talking about. Okay, so we're going to go back to our endocrine and hormone module. And in the notes, I want to pick up where I left off last time. And again, if you weren't here on Wednesday, please rewatch Wednesday's video posted in the updates. It's a YouTube link. And I want to continue from there, right? So in the video, we introduced, hold on, where was I? I left off, okay, this is a good place to pick up. So in the video, it mentioned that there were, how many different organs were there total again, guys? In the endocrine system?
7.
10?
There was 10. There was 10, right? And let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if you're a female, and the 10th if you're a male. So there are 10 total, and that was mentioned in the video. So if you didn't hear that, please rewatch that video. And again, I go through them all. These 10 are all in my notes. So let's talk about them starting today. We're not going to talk about all of them today. So on Wednesday, I explained to you that that video kind of simplified it, obviously, right? I think it was Kenneth who was saying that glands are sent through the bloodstream. That is true, but there are two different ways that the endocrine system works, okay? So we have something called an exocrine secretion versus an endocrine secretion, okay? So the difference is this. Let me just show you this picture, okay? This is the difference between endocrine and exocrine. It all belongs under the same umbrella term of the endocrine system, but it does it in two different ways. An endocrine, actually, Kenneth, can you tell us, please, because I was in your group and you gave a pretty good definition. How do glands and hormones work again? Can you tell us?
The glands make the hormones, and then the hormones travel like through the bloodstream
Very good.
to the different cells, which the hormones connect to the cell receptors inside the cells.
Very good, very good. And I'm going to show you a picture of what you just said, Kenneth, but first I'm going to show you this to just differentiate between endocrine and exocrine. So exactly what Kenneth said is, for example, here is a hormone, okay? And that hormone, which is just, you know, this little pink purpley thingy, is going to enter into the bloodstream, which the bloodstream, think of it as this blood vessel here, okay? So the hormone goes into the bloodstream and then travels to whatever target cell we want. That's endocrine. But exocrine is technically like part B of the endocrine system. There is a different way that this works as well without the bloodstream. So we call that an exocrine, all right? And a good example of that, do you guys remember the sweat glands and the sebaceous glands that we talked about in the integumentary system? Do you guys remember those? Thumbs up if you remember sweat glands and sebaceous glands. Okay, good. So those, although they are part of the integumentary system, a lot of these systems have some overlap. Okay, so technically, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, even mammary glands, like, you know, the glands that produce milk in a breast, those are technically exocrine. Here's why. Because the hormone is actually not traveling through a bloodstream. Instead, there is like this little channel. We call them ducts, not like duck quack quack, but DUCT. And they secrete their thing outside. See, this is exiting, right? So if this is the skin, for example, sweat, okay, it's released through this channel we call a duct, and that secretion exits, okay? So that's the main difference, and I'll go back to here. So endocrine, we refer to them as ductless, meaning they don't have a duct, okay? They just release, like Kenneth said, directly into the bloodstream. Whereas an exocrine, like a sweat gland, sebaceous gland, a mammary gland, like that releases milk, they don't have the ability to release something through the bloodstream. They release it through these channels, which we call ducts, okay? So that's the difference between exocrine and endocrine, all right? Specifically though, in the endocrine, there are two different types of endocrines. There's what we call an autocrine, which is a hormone that just acts on the cell that released it, meaning it affects itself, right? Auto means self. There's paracrine. Paracrine, and the reason I put these in smaller letters is because these will not be on the quiz, okay? I'm not gonna force you to know like the details of this, but paracrine are technically hormones that work at short distance, whereas endocrine, true endocrine, works at long distance, okay? But disregard these. I'm only gonna ask you to know exocrine versus endocrine. But like Kenneth said, it has to affect a target cell that has a receptor. So let me show you a picture of that, okay? So here's a good example of what Kenneth just told us, right? So here's our gland. It releases its hormone into the bloodstream, Okay, that's what this red blood vessel is, right? And then that hormone travels. It's not going to go to this cell because this cell does not have a receptor, okay, or at least a specific receptor for it. So it's not going to affect this cell. It'll travel until it reaches the specific one that we want, which we call the target cell, okay? And the little structure on the surface of the cell that receives the hormone, we call that the receptor, okay? So that's just to summarize what the video said. It said it very simply. Now I'm giving you the details, okay? Now, what do hormones do for us? Can you read us the slide, please? How about Alma? What do hormones do for us? What's their function? Alma? How about Anna? I see that your mic is on. Can you read us this? What do hormones do for us?
Hormones are only effective if able to stimulate targeted cells into carrying specific function. Important that hormone levels are normal. Body controls normal levels with feedback loops.
Yeah, very good. So although, like Ken said, you know, the hormones are sent through the bloodstream to a specific cell, we don't just always want to do this all the time, right? That's not good. We need to make sure that, as always, right, we're in homeostasis, meaning we're balanced out, right? And the way specifically that the endocrine system does that is with these things we call feedback loops. There are two feedback loops. You might have learned about feedback loops way back in your biology class. Now I would need to introduce it or maybe reintroduce it to some of you. Okay, so the way feedback loops work is the following. Okay, so there's generally two. There's what we call a positive feedback loop. And positive feedback loops, like in the case of a woman lactating milk through her mammary gland, what's going to happen is this feedback loop, it's going to accelerate the release of the hormone, okay? And here's an example of it, okay? So if we have a baby that's suckling on a nipple, for example, right? This is a gland. A mammary gland is a gland, and what it releases in this case is, you know, milk for the baby, right? So if the baby is suckling on the nipple, that sends an impulse to the gland we're going to talk about later called the hypothalamus. That hypothalamus, which is a member of the endocrine system, then releases and sends to the pituitary gland, another gland we're going to talk about, a hormone that we call oxytocin. And oxytocin makes the breast release even more milk, okay? And so we call that a positive feedback loop because, again, the baby suckling triggers the glands to release this hormone, and that causes the milk to be released because of that hormone, and it keeps going and going and going. So that's what we refer to as a positive feedback loop, meaning something starts it and it keeps it going, okay? That's positive feedback. That's not generally the way our bodies work. This is kind of rare, actually, this type of feedback loop. Most of the endocrine system's way to keep themselves checked and balanced, like Anna said, is called a negative feedback loop. And in the video, they mentioned diabetes to you, right? And can anyone summarize for me what is diabetes and what is the problem with diabetes in our body, according to the video? Anyone? What was diabetes according to the video before I tell you what negative feedback loops are?
Isn't it when the body doesn't produce enough insulin?
And why is that bad? What did the video say about that?
I remember the video was saying that a hormone, I think, attached to like one of the receptors, and so like, and then it's the function, just like or like it made it produce less insulin.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, that's pretty good, Daniel. And so you're right. It is a disease of the pancreas, but what that has to do with overall body function and negative feedback loop, let me explain this, okay? So in the case of like you eating, you know, your favorite burger or whatever, right? So first of all, almost everything has sugar in it, okay? And I think I've already told you this, everything. So let's say you're eating your favorite burger here, okay? Well, there's glucose in that. And glucose, if you recall last semester when we talked about chemistry, this is a really, really simple carbohydrate. But when you eat that burger, that burger, which has glucose in it, causes a spike in your glucose levels. And that high glucose level causes the pancreas to release that hormone we call insulin, okay? And the reason this is a negative feedback loop is because we don't want that insulin level to go up, 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 up all the time, right? Because that would be too much blood glucose in us, and that's really, really bad. And we'll talk more about that later. But what happens here is an initial increase in blood glucose causes the pancreas to secrete the hormone insulin into the liver. And then the liver, what it does is it takes that glucose, but it stores it as glycogen, because you don't want to have insulin in your body all the time, okay? And so what it does is it turns that insulin into glycogen so that our bodies can store it long term. And what that does then, and the reason we call it a negative feedback, is because we're slowing down the level of insulin in this case. We're slowing down the level of glucose, right? So unlike the previous example where the baby suckling on the nipple causes a hormone increase, in a negative feedback, which is the way most of your body's hormones work, an increase in one causes a decrease in the other. So there is an increase in glucose, but ultimately it gets lowered, right? It gets lowered here, as you can see, so that we're in homeostasis, because we don't want a high increase of blood glucose, right? That can lead to many things: diabetes, weight gain, heart attacks, and many other diseases associated with the heart. So we don't want a spike in glucose or insulin ever. So negative feedbacks are good, and negative feedback is usually the way all hormones and most systems in our body work this way, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and pause there. I sent you a list, and it's a very, very extensive list. We're not gonna talk about all of these, but these are all of the glands in your body, all 10 of them, and a breakdown of, you know, all the types of hormones they released, and a breakdown of the effects of them. So I'm not going to go over this entire list, right? This is not a medical school class, but we are going to talk about a few. We are going to talk about a few, especially the ones that affect you directly, okay? So I'm going to pause there, but just note that review what we talked about, preview the glands and the hormones, okay? Because, let me go back to sharing the Schoology assignments with you. The reason you need to review that is because in your assignment that you're going to do for me now, there are two things I gave you, right? And that's the reading assignment in Newsella, which a lot of this article is, you know, pretty much covering what I'm talking about in my notes. So you need to review the article, but that is an article for points. So you need to go to Newsella, like I said, and answer just the writing prompt. I know some of you did the quiz already. Like I had said before, I'm not giving you credit for the quiz. I'm only giving you credit for the writing prompt. And then you need to watch the crash course video for the endocrine system and answer the 10 questions. And then you're done with the assignments. Any questions about the assignments? I know some of you already did these on your own, and that's fine. But if you haven't, please make sure you do so by the end of today. Any questions about the assignments or anything I talked about today? If not, I'll go ahead and end class early there. The time is 11:24. So if there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and pause there. Is there any other questions about what we talked about? Endocrine system, article, video?
No.
All right, thumbs up if you're good. All right, cool. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end class there. Please feel free to review this video. Please start the 2 assignments for the modules. And again, the way modules work, You can do these assignments ahead of time. You don't have to wait for a due date, and you can work ahead. Okay, so thank you for all of you that submitted your writing and reading assignments ahead of time. I have a lot of them submitted already, and I'll go ahead and start grading those this weekend. Okay, but the rest of you, please go ahead and start those, and feel free to jump ahead on the notes. Next week we'll continue where I left off, going over the 10 glands of the endocrine system and their hormones. Okay, all right, guys. Until next time, I'll see you on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend, guys. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.